Hello everyone and welcome to today's video about the MSI Claw A8. I'm not really sure. Yes, the MSI Claw A8. So a lot of people, me included, did not know the existence of this handheld device. So it is the technically latest MSI Claw and it is powered by the AMD Z2 Extreme, not the AMD AI Z2 Extreme, which is two different things. So I already have it packed here and don't worry about it, I've already been using it for like past 2 weeks or so. And in today's video, as the title says, we are going to open it up and see how repairable it is. So currently, let me just put it up for you guys to see, right? Because it is indeed still in working condition, as you can see there, MSI logo. So yeah, I have my screwdriver here. So let's just open it up and see how things go. Now, before we begin, I just want to quickly show you the specs of this thing. So you can see AMD Ryzen Z2 Extreme, 24 gigs of LPDDR5 RAM at 8000 megatransfers per second, a terabyte of SSD from Micron, and also the AMD 890M integrated graphics. So basically, it's in terms of paper specs, this kind of core specs, it's identical to the ROG Xbox Ally X. But in today's video, I want to see how repairable this device is. So let's open it up. As you can see, there are a total of 6 screws here. All of them are using the Phillips screw, which is very good. And their screw size is actually kind of big. So I'm using the biggest Phillips screw available here. So I'm just gonna take out all of them. So to open it up, I think this is gonna be real simple. Let me just dig my fingernail in. That is the most straightforward way to open it up. It's really easy to remove. So as you can see, if you don't like the M1 and M2 buttons, then you can unscrew it and change it for something else. We talked more about this in our full review, so check it out at the top right corner there as well, because I do think that it's a little too easy to accidentally press the both M1 and M2 buttons. So that's it for that. Now, the device itself, I would say it's, by the looks of it, it's pretty straightforward. We can actually see the lime green color poking through, which means the PCB, the motherboard is only this big. The battery this long, 2 joystick compartments, and then the button compartments are here, and then the vibration motors. That's it. It's in terms of construction, I would say it's simple. And one thing good is that they are using M.2 2280 SSDs. You take out that screw. Do remember M.2 SSDs are using different screws. The battery terminal is gonna be in the way of the SSD, so it's not the easiest to take out. Oh, those are some thick thermal pads. Okay. I'm not really sure why they put thermal pads on the underside when this side is actually where all the heat comes out from. But it's okay, having a thermal pad is better than nothing. There are some very small capacitors on the underneath the SSD slot. What are they? Are they capacitors or what? I can't really tell. Either way, we got the SSD out. It's that simple. So if you want to upgrade to, let's just say 2 terabyte or 4 terabyte, then this is the step that you can take. Of course, SSD prices are really skyrocketing nowadays. So yeah, if you can find a good deal on SSDs, then you can upgrade it this way. As for the battery, I'm just gonna lift up this ribbon cable for a while. Be careful not to tear it off. Okay, with that out of the way, we can see that the label here, it says 80.1 watt hours, 5145 milliampere hour. There is a reason why we use watt hour and not milliampere hour. Link at the top right corner there to know more, because mAh is a very stupid way of measuring battery capacity. So as you can see, 80 watt hour, also the same as the ROG LIX and the ROG Xbox LIX. Then now let's take out the joysticks assembly as well. So as far as I can see, it's also really simple. They are just 2 screws holding it down. First things first, we have to take out the vibration motor. So, and then we have lock tabs for the ribbon cable. There we go. Oh, then we can just unscrew 2 screws, one here, another one here. Before I forget, we still have another ribbon cable here. And I'm sure this one is for the RGB instead. Oh, we got another screw. It's under here. And there we go. This is a bit funky because the entire assembly comes out as one, which is actually interesting because we just took out 3 screws and 2 ribbon cables. Then we have the trigger, the shoulder button, and also the face button and the joysticks all in one. Huh, that's interesting. Oh, okay. We have the membrane pads as well. So if your face buttons ever get kind of not registering your inputs properly, you can take out this silicone pad and then use some alcohol swab and wipe down the carbon pads here. So, and wipe this as well. Okay, the shell just comes out like this. This is a diffuser. And the joystick itself, how the heck do we take it out? Because eventually we still need to swap it out, right? If things go awry. I can see screws inside. Aha. Okay. After the piece of diffuser, we still have another plastic shell, this piece of black plastic that we have to take out. But I'm not sure how to take out the joystick cap. But either way, if we just push the joystick and this diffuser away, we can see there are 2 screws. One screw on this side and another on the bottom side. Here is another screw. So I guess we can pull out the cap, but I tried and nothing happens. Is it really stuck there properly or what? Because I tried pulling. It's really in there. Alright, nothing's happening. The cap is kind of stuck there. I think there's some glue as well. I can't really see, but it seems like there's glue on the cap and also the stem inside, because you can see, I'm not sure if you can see, but I can definitely see there's some sort of a residue inside. Probably it's glue, I'm not sure, which kind of affects repairability, because if you want to repair this, it's gonna be a tough time. Okay, anyway, we will assemble back the diffuser as well, which just goes in like this, just pops in. So one interesting thing is that even the M1 and M2 buttons are located on this piece of daughterboard as well. This is the M1 and M2 button. There's one here for the other side. So I'm not sure this is M1 or M2, but either way, it just comes out as a single piece. Interesting. In terms of repairability, this should be a lot more easy and also accessible for people to just swap out the faulty parts. However, even though accessibility is easy, it's quite difficult to take out the joysticks. I'm not sure how you can actually get to those 2 screws to unscrew it and take out this joystick, because the joystick assembly is also connected to the daughterboard with just one piece of ribbon cable. Let me peel off this adhesive for you, then you can see it properly. Yeah, you can see the joystick assembly connects via that single ribbon cable. I mean, MSI got it right by, making every single button on this side of the console to be on this little daughterboard, and it's very easy to take out. But then again, once you reach this part, it's very difficult to take out the joystick. Okay? That side done, let's take a look at the other side, which is having the same assembly as well. So we just take that out. Once more, 3 screws and the whole assembly comes out. It's really easy to take out, which I absolutely love, and all buttons are in this little daughterboard. Again, back button is here. This assembly is a tad bit different, and again, for this part of the console's buttons, all of them are integrated into this daughterboard, and again, 1 ribbon cable and 3 screws, and then you can take out this entire assembly. So once we got 2 of the daughterboards taken out, we can see all of the buttons are laid out like this. These are the M1 and M2 buttons. And then when we flip it apart, 2 joysticks, the face buttons. Now these are the face buttons. This is the D-pad. And you can see we do have 1 single RGB LED here because the face buttons do light up. But then again, since it's only a single LED, all of them share the same color. And then we have the left and right shoulder buttons and the triggers. It's really amazing that this kind of assembly can be done in such a way. I mean, in terms of repairability, accessibility to repair, MSI did it really well here compared to the ROG Xbox LIX. But then again, to get to the joysticks themselves and take them out, it's a bit more finicky because of the accessibility to those screws. Yeah. As for the battery, I don't see any warranty sticker or whatsoever. I know certain countries, they don't matter. The warranty sticker means nothing. But for us here in Malaysia, they do, unfortunately. And one thing I like is that they are using the exact same screw for the battery, the joystick, daughterboard, assembly. Okay, so once we got down to this part of the board, we can take out the battery. In the future, if we want to upgrade the battery to, let's say, 100 watts or whatsoever, if it's available for this kind of form factor, yeah, it's really simple to just unscrew and take it out. Of course, you have to slowly remove the ribbon cable and put it on the new battery as well, but it's simple. We'll put the battery somewhere out of frame. And here we can see 2 speakers, left and right, and the vibration motor. This one fell out. Okay, I'm just gonna put it back in. And here's the other vibration motor. 2 fans, which are practically held on by nothing at this point, I think. Yeah, we can just unscrew all of this and take out the entire assembly. I'm not gonna do that because it will compromise the cooling. I don't want to take out this plate here because it will compromise the thermal paste, and I don't have any extra thermal paste. The diamond shaped D-pad, if you want to change this out as well, if parts are available, you can do that. Real simple to access everything. And the face buttons. So you can see the face buttons here are translucent, at least part of it is, because the single RGB LED here will pass through the colors. Where is it? Yeah, like this. RGB, light this up, and it will just shine through. It's not particularly bright, but it does add some character to the whole device. And that's about it. There's really nothing much to talk about. In terms of display, yeah, you do have the display cable here. And since we have this little port here, if the display is ever busted, cracked, or you need to swap it out, then you can just disconnect this cable, push this part through, and then the display will come out. How I know this is because I repaired the display on the original ROG Ally, and they also have this little window as well where I can poke it and then the display will just pop up. So that's it. In terms of this assembly, there's really nothing much to talk about after this. It's really simple in terms of the assembly. I really like how MSI did this because integrating all of the buttons to the daughterboards here, left and right daughterboards, is a genius move, but then again, to get access to the joysticks themselves, that part is not really that genius. It's kind of difficult. I still can't remove the joystick cap. If I can't remove the joystick cap, then how the heck am I gonna unscrew it? Yeah, this side is also the same. I can't take it out. Oh. I mean, it is definitely moving a little bit, but it's really in there. So yeah, I'm not gonna do this anymore. Okay, so yeah, that's it. If you ever want to fix or repair the MSI Claw A8, this is how you do it. It's real simple, really straightforward, and now I'm just gonna do everything in reverse to reassemble everything. Alright, now we got everything assembled back together. One thing I realized is that they don't use the light sensor for like the ROG Ally series. What that means is that for the ROG Ally, if you open up the back plate, you have to close it back first to block the light sensor, then plug it into a charger before we can actually turn on the device. In MSI's case, I don't see any light sensor, so I don't think they're using it in any other way. Yeah, they don't have a light sensor as far as I can tell. So we can directly just start up here and test if everything works. Yeah, we definitely don't have to reassemble back, and we can see it is indeed booting up. So yeah, I hope this video helps you out in terms of the process to open up the MSI Claw A8 and also to swap out all of the parts and do some upgrades if you want to, and also to repair stuff. So yeah, if you find this video to be useful, then do hit that like and subscribe button, and we do have our teardown and review for the ROG Xbox Ally X as well. You can check it out at the top right corner there on our other channel. And yeah, we'll see you guys there. Goodbye.